I'm really, really happy to have you, to finally be able to chat with you. I got to qualify a little bit before we open up too much about what you got going on now. Been a lifelong fan of your work, not just with Jane's, but everything. And it's funny. It's funny because your creative process was right there when I was starting to create. So when I first started writing music, I had discovered Ritual, and then I went back and discovered Nothing Shocking. So when I first started writing my own songs, it was when I was deeply, deeply into Ritual. So so it was really, really cool to go on that journey and then watch you disband the band at the height of their popularity, start Lollapalooza, just say, I'm going to do something different. And it almost made me want to take cues from you in the sense of, if it doesn't feel right, don't do it anymore. That was always the vibe I got with you. That you were one of these guys that you were going to do something for a period of time, and then when it didn't feel like it was right to do that, you were moving on. So
yeah, when the love goes out of it.
Yeah, and that's what I love about anything that has your name on it. I know there's passion involved.
Thank you. There's passion. Yeah, I put my whole life into it. Everything, my life force into it.
I was also at A&M Studios recording my band's album in 1999, where you were there recording Songs to Be Sung.
Where was it?
A&M at Hanson Studios.
Oh, yeah.
I was in the same studio as you, and I remember seeing you guys having lunch, and you guys would all sit in a circle and have lunch together when you were recording. And I just thought there was just a really, really nice vibe about it. So been a lifelong fan of the music. Actually went to see you at City Winery a couple of years ago with my wife in New York.
Did you say hello?
I didn't. I mean, it was kind of hectic, but it was great to see you guys in such an intimate setting, you know? So I've been following you guys for a while. Tell me a bit about releasing the Glitz and the Glamour, because a lot of people will know you for the Jane's Addiction stuff, but you've had an extremely prolific solo career outside of Jane's. What was it like to take all that stuff, put it in one collection, and then bring it out into the world?
It was the best thing that's ever happened to me. I really love it because, you know, I tend to just only look forward. I don't really look back because I'm constantly wanting to do something fresh and see if it can work, see if it'll sound good, you know? Yeah. But my new management team, they were coming over to my house to, you know, have meetings, something also I'd never done before. and while they were here, they asked me, do you have pictures laying around, like old photographs? They were just trying to organize me, because now that we've got the internet in such a good place, the killer thing for everyone to do is just gather up their history. Right. It could be a musical history, it could be a history in photographs, it could be a written history, but we now have a place where we can hang our history, where we can play our history, where we can perform our history, read our history. It is the internet, and it can be like zipped off to wherever, at four corners of the world, right?
Right.
And they were saying, and I said, yeah, man, I've got boxes of photographs. They're looking at the photographs, they're going, no, man, we've got to take every one of these pictures. We're going to give them to a company. This company, Metallica, just did it. They did 10,000 pictures the Metallica game. I'm like, all right. So gave them the pictures, and then they said, you've got to write your memoirs. This is too good, you know, because every picture tells a story, don't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Every picture tells a story, don't it? And so I did, and they said, you know, we're trying to organize your music, and it is wherever the wind blew it for the last 35 years, Per.
Right.
And I went, well, think you could help me? They're like, leave it to me. I'm going to get it in one place. And for the time being, that one place is, you know, as an example, we can get it you know, in the downloading, in your typical downloading areas. So they were going like, whoa, Psycom. Okay, who's got Psycom? Who's got the publishing on that?
Right.
Who's got the masters on that? and the reason I said I tend to just keep looking forward. Well, I don't know where half my shit is.
Yeah.
And and the other half, the reason where I don't know where it is because sometimes I don't want to know. Sometimes I do things for a very, very small, intimate group to experience or to
Right.
have, to own. It might be like, as an example, Kind Heaven Orchestra went to London. We performed for a few nights but it was 100 people, might have been 150 map capacity.
Yeah.
And I lost, man. I don't want to tell you how much I lost, but I did it. My wife was like, "You crazy? No, we got to talk to somebody. We got to stop you." And I'm like, "No, it's too late. We've got to do this." Even though we lost a ridiculous, crazy amount of money, and it was so uneven as far as like I didn't have a budget. I
Right.
didn't want a budget, so I hired dancers, backup singers, an orchestra, and I shoved everybody into this tiny little place that I knew that only 100 people to 150 people were going to they will only be able to talk about it,
Right.
but they'll be able to talk
Well,
about it.
that's it. And I kind of had that same feeling when I went to go see you guys at City Winery. I felt
Yeah,
like I was at something, I felt like I was at something special. And I'm
yeah,
like, I can't believe I'm in here with like 100 or 150
yeah,
people and I'm seeing
yeah.
this. And it was a really fun experience. And everyone that was around me felt the same thing. You could feel that everybody was celebrating something together. So, but
Wait. Also, there's a thing about how the patrons are treated.
mhm,
When you get to the size of Lollapalooza, at that point, I could very well say you're kind of cattle.
yeah,
We're cattle wrestling. Come
yeah,
on in, man. Come on,
yeah,
keep the cattle coming. Yeah.
yeah,
But when you're at the City Winery, as an example, kind of get you a drink.
yeah, yeah.
You got another drink,
Yeah, it
Not
was,
you, not
no,
you,
no,
because
no, not me,
you're
but
alcoholic.
but it was a very nice experience I like intimate shows like that. And it's funny because I've seen you, like, you came through with Satellite Party right when the album was released in Montreal, and I remember I think you played on a night that the Montreal Canadiens were in the playoffs. And I
Ooh,
remember it was a very small crowd,
that's
but
rare.
I remember you still came out and played for 2.5 hours. And it was like, and everybody looked at each other because I think the year before you had played at the Air Canada Centre with Jane's, which is the arena in Toronto, to 20,000 people, or 2 years before. So I think everybody in that room was like, we're seeing Perry with like 100 people and he's giving it like he's in a stadium. So I think that's what I when I started talking to you, that's what I
Now, the people that'll see me in the stadium, they'll go, "He's giving it like he's in front of 100
well,
people."
that's it. And that goes back to what I was saying at the beginning, that there's a passion with whatever you do that's undeniable. But I can imagine when someone's a business person trying to get you in line in a business way, it must be a disaster.
Well, it was up until
Till recently, yeah.
second birthday, which is coming up. No, they finally wrote me in because COVID hit, and
Yeah,
then okay, now I've got to watch. I've got to watch my money. I'm not a billionaire by any stretch of the imagination, but I am an artist,
right,
and that, to be able to know in my heart, Jason, that what I do is I make people happy, I entertain them, I give them music so that they can transform their own soul and their own heart just by listening to something, or it can excite people to the point of revolution.
yeah,
I mean, that's what I do. That's what
right,
I do. So every aspect of it, it's the same for me. I'm putting out, I'm messaging to you. This is the way the world could be. I'm messaging to you.
right.
Let's get sexy, let's be sensual. I'm messaging to you. Let's love each other as brothers and sisters. I'm messaging to you. Let's have some good old fashioned adult entertainment.
It's awesome to see the passion that you still have, and this package, this Glitz and Glamour package, I'm looking to get it on vinyl because I'm a big vinyl freak. I'm a vinyl nut.
Yeah, you'll love this.
Yeah. But I did get to stream a lot of the stuff, which I think there's about 35 songs that are available to stream and listen to. And there's some really cool, like I really, really like what you did with that spoken word from Jim Morrison. I mean, that was great. Tell me a bit how that came about.
Okay, there's actually 2 tracks.
Okay.
In the box set, 2 tracks, 2 different songs by Jim Morrison. So I'll just to explain to your audience what that really means, and I'll tell you how I got it. So this was maybe 2005, around there. Somebody from Israel called me up. I had never met. No, they didn't call me up. They got a hold of me online through the internet. Might have been Facebook. And they said they were speaking to Jim Morrison, and that Jim Morrison wanted me to have these tracks.
Okay.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so I said, here's my address. We'll go through Dropbox, So they started Dropboxing me. I think it was like 9 tracks of Jim Morrison a cappella. He was just in a studio, no music, singing. Like I can hear there's melodies.
Yeah.
And then also it became spoken word, like Jack Kerouac, kind of like that kind of style, beat poet, and then he started singing. And the guy said, we want to do it. They were musicians. So I was getting these dialogues with them. I'd call them up. I'm like, let me ask you a question. Where did you get them? And when you say you're speaking to Jim, like how you speaking to him? So what the guy it was a guy and a woman. The guy would go, hold on. And I'd hear the woman go, Jim says that Jim wants you to have them because, and he would explain why Jim wanted me around. I'm like, all right, look. And I said to him, all right, send them to me, but just know neither of us can use these tracks. They belong to Jim Morrison and his estate.
Right, of course.
So I went and I played them for Danny Sugarman, who was alive in those days. He died of cancer about 2 weeks after.
Okay.
I played him the tracks. So we sat in his house. Oh, he laid down in his house and in his room, and we listened to the tracks together.
Okay.
And it was like the best treat before he left the earth.
Sure.
He was smiling from ear to ear, just going. He just kept saying, "Where the hell did he do this? Where the hell did he do this?" And then he went, "Wait!" Before he left for Paris, Jim told me he was going up to Sunset to record some things. But then I heard that he also, when he was in Paris, recorded some things.
Right.
And then I had heard that he had a love affair with a Palestinian woman. And maybe they got him from there.
Right.
And maybe that woman was the Palestinian woman.
Right.
So I'm on a quest to meet her, to make these tracks into songs, and working with the Morrison estate, of course, to do so. And so I had one of the tracks remixed by a Palestinian woman.
Okay.
And a Jewish fellow.
Yeah.
So that's all in the box set. And I'm having more, once I want to do it once a year, and I want to make, like you guys, the tracks are going to be for charity or for peace. Right. So I'm going to try to make peace in the Middle East with these tracks.
Well, if anybody can do it, it's you.
Maybe that's what Jim thought.
Well, let me tell you something. You're sitting on you're sitting on stuff that probably people are dying to hear. I mean, you know,
Yeah,
that's, you know, that's pretty
it's
pressure.
heavy.
That's very heavy. I mean,
Yeah,
and that's why when I heard that, I was like, holy shit, I got to ask about this, because this is pretty, you know, being a guy who grew up on the Doors and lived a bit in LA for, you know, like I know that the whole lore of, you know, I spent a bit of time with Robbie Krieger in the late 80s, early 90s. So I know like that, I have a big love for the Doors. So when I saw that, I was like, it's pretty cool. So it,
yeah.
that must have been an interesting phone call to field.
Yeah, it ends right now. It's a little, there's only one little sad footnote is that the people who gave me the tracks
Yeah.
are not allowed to have them. So they gave them to me. They're not allowed to have them. And the Doors estate had to let them know, like, no, man, you can't have anything to do with these.
Right.
They did have something to do with it, but
Sure.
I don't want to make money on it, but I want to make peace.
Well, yeah, and you want to make art, which is right in line, right in line with what you usually want to do. So I'm glad to hear that, and thank you for bringing that to life, because when I heard that voice, I was like, what?
I can't believe it.
What is this?
Yeah.
So,
makes me want to think that Jim actually moved someplace again and didn't tell us, but
yeah. I mean, listen, I'm a big, there's nothing more that nothing would make me happier than to discover that there's this island where they all are, you know?
Yeah.
I'd like to spend a weekend on that island.
That would be awesome.
Let me ask you, what's coming next? Because I know you've dropped this box. Do you have anything else in the works right now?
Oh yeah. I like to work, Jason, about like 10 years at a time.
Okay.
So you can ask me any question 8 years from now, what I got going, I can tell you right now.
Okay.
But right now, immediate. The box set just came out, and it's, I like working with limited editions. From here on, I'm like a fine artist. There's a limit to the amount of box sets.
Right.
There's only like a few thousand of those.
Right.
The vinyls, and that's it. I'm working with a fine artist by the name of Zoltar.
Okay.
Check him out. He's a London-based artist, and he's out of his mind in the best way.
Okay.
And he's putting together, you know, as if we would do what I'm trying to get to, aside from Lollapalooza, which is it's a macrocosm of music, right? Is 500,000 people on over the course of 3 or 4 days, right? In any state, in any city. But I, as you know, I also like working on the microcosm. I think just like God, he likes to make massively gigantic things, and then he'll make an insect world.
Right.
So in my insect world, I'm constantly recording and then creating remixes and small parties too. So I've got coming up, the next pinpoint I can tell you about is August, where I'm doing similar to you guys. I did some virtual tracks and performed. So I'm doing a retrospective that I'm calling Perry Farrell Kind of Has an Orchestra. But if you look at it, it's funny. But I'm going to try to bring back all my groups and all the guys that played, as many of them as I can.
Okay.
And do a couple of tracks from just to pump the tracks, all the music I've done over the past 35 years, each band, each group I've worked with. And then if we can all stay on course, get vaccinated, stay socially distanced, and masked up, maybe, please God, maybe we'll get to go to Chicago in early August in one capacity or another. If it's not a giant Lollapalooza, it might be a half capacity Lollapalooza.
Okay.
or no Lollapalooza, maybe. But I want there to be a Lollapalooza in some capacity so bad, but we can only respond to the people.
Right.
If the people are getting it right and we're flattening out and we're going away from COVID infections, there's hope.
Right. Right.
And I'm building for that. I listened to Joe Biden when he thinks July 4th could be the first time we have a small celebration. I'm going to say then my first small celebration will be in August.
Right.
And I want to have it in Chicago. So I'm planning for a party in some capacity for the Kind Heaven Orchestra.
Okay.
To come out there. And the Kind Heaven Orchestra, we are an art collective, a music collective. We're installation, we install for more than one day, as you saw at the City Winery. And I'm just going to keep evolving that intimate scenario and see how far we can go with that. And then, of course, you can blow it up and bring it to different countries and be a part of Lollapalooza. Man, I just love making art. That's it.
Yeah, I know. And that's, and I got to say, it's so much fun to be on this journey with you over the last 20, 30 years. It's been a lot of fun. It really has. As a fan, it's fun. As an artist, being influenced by you, it's been a lot of fun. So, but Perry, thank you so much for taking the time. Honestly, it's been a pleasure. And I wish you nothing but continued success. Stay healthy. And I can't wait to see you again in person, because I love seeing you live.
And now we'll be able to, hey man.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
All the best, man. Thank you so much.
Take care.